Why don't people in the Ebonheart Pact get any Christmas presents? Well, it's because they're Saint Nicholas. What's going on, YouTube? It is Friday night. Feels like a bit of a weird week with the half of it being a holiday and the other half being a work week, but we're inside the Hollow City, inside of Cold Harbor, to talk to our boy Zanil, because he has our luxury furnishing items. 20,000 gold for a big old shrine altar. Interesting. To start us off, ooh, anything that opens and closes is incredible. Get your mind out of the gutter. The 10 of you that thought of something bad. Oh my God, we've got a second thing. Unless it's on a hinge, that's not as good. This is kind of a banger, and I know bangers. So this is actually a pretty good week. Now, Khajiit themes are notoriously sometimes a bit cattywampus to sell. But that being said, I mean, like, these items are awesome. These huge ritual blocks that change colors. You've got doors that open and latch. I mean, this is a good week. So if you were to look at what items would resell or be good, I would say definitely this Lunar Reverence door. This gate also has a decent, ish value. 25k is a bit high because there are other ones that are slightly cheaper and look a little bit similar. I don't know anything about this block, but ever since I laid eyes on it, I can't take it off of them. And if you're thinking to yourself, Jake, you've literally scrolled past it, ignore that. This is probably the thing that I'm least excited about, but even this thing looks kind of cool. I don't know what the Khajiit are doing, but I guess they're watching all of the moons at once, which is important in their culture because that determines how big the cats will be when they're born. That's real. You can look that up. And also, please, before we jump into our second vendor here, which is inside of our Cyrodiil High Rock Gate, please like the video and subscribe. We try to shoot for a 5 to 10% like ratio per view. So if you can't hit the like and subscribe button, let's jump into it. And we start off with Bloodthorn. Now, when you deal direct damage, you restore 800 magic gun stamina. This can occur once every 5 seconds. And notably, because this kind of confuses people, your magicka stamina recoveries are over 2 seconds. So if you have 1,000 stamina recovery, for example, that's only 500 per second because it's over 2 seconds. So this, in that same criteria mathematical thing would be a decent increase to your magicka and stamina, being able to instantly proc it. But the problem is that there are other 5-piece sets that are just arguably better. There's so many good sustain sets these days. For example, this bad boy is from Glenumbra, but if you wanted a good sustain set, you're just going to slap on Wretched Vitality and just get a lot better benefit. Does that mean this set is bad? No. The problem is that it's just outclassed by everything that's better. You could still build a great recovery build with this. So I'm going to give it an 8.0. I was tempted to put it in the good category, but I think the problem when you think about sustained PvP sets is there's a lot of like 9s and 10s, but we also have to acknowledge that there's a couple 8s, and I'd throw this in the 8 tier. Next up, Rehab Prayer. Now, this is magicka, weapon and spell, magicka recovery, and then when you overheal yourself or an ally, you grant them a damage shield that absorbs for 2873 damage over 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds. Notably, because we're looking at this set inside of Cyrodiil, it is affected by Battle Spirit. So this one I think would be about doubled. So just mathematically times that by 2. Please don't count on me to do any math for you. So when you look at a set like this, there's a couple things that could be used because support sets are in a situation where sometimes they do want to keep you alive with shields and heals. Usually, though, they're trying to give you unique buffs or just buffs that you don't have access to the whole group. So are there situations where you might want to have a damage shield being reprocced on you every 2 seconds? Maybe. There are some checks and different DPS checks, things that you can kind of cheese your way through if you're giving everybody an overshield. Maybe if you're in a situation, and I've seen this before, people are doing 4-man title runs, or they're trying to do no death runs. They wear some sets like these just to kind of double ensure that they're not getting killed. It's very niche in its utilization. I'm just going to say it's above average. We'll just give it like a 6.5. It's not horribly bad. It's not good, though, just because it doesn't do enough in a day and age when there's so many good sets that you could just get a better benefit of. And this is just an example of a set that comes from, unfortunately, it comes from Spindle Clutch. So It's a bit old. Next up is the Sergeant's Mail set. It is a staple set, so I'll try to do my best angelic voice impression here for you. This is a 10 out of 10 set that drops from Wayrest. But why is it a 10 out of 10 set? It gives you health recovery, weapon, and spell. You're probably like bit cattywampus there. And I know that there are people who comment, it's only been 0 days since Jake has put the word cattywampus in a YouTube video. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, you gain a stack of Sergeant's Focus for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of your heavy attacks by 645 per stack. This effect can occur once every second and stacks up to 4 times. So it is the heavy attack build staple. It's actually relatively straightforward. It just makes heavy attacking really good. That's all you need to know realistically. Now, do you want this set? Some of you will be watching this right now and you're thinking to yourself, all right, Jake, we have a set that could be purchased for good value in the Golden Vendor. What kind of player is going to be interested in buying this versus grinding for it? Well, farming Wayrest sewers, if you're a solo player, can be a bit annoying because the queue times can be a little bit long for it. So in a situation where you want to get a guaranteed one-piece golded out jewelry, I think it's a pretty decent gamble. It's going to save you at least a singular run, and it's going to take a sticker book, spot off the bat. Also, if you don't have a lot of jewelry upgrade mats, this is great as well. If you're a player who also doesn't have the ability to see chests in the overworld, this will probably also save you time, especially because a lot of solo players are very interested in this set. If you're in a situation where you don't have your excavation, leveled very highly, you don't like farming dungeons, this is probably a good skip for you because then you can just focus on getting the other pieces. So yeah, the staple set, 10 out of 10. Maybe you want it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you already have it. Next up is Stiggin. This comes from Cold Harbor. Now, I have been a Stiggin enthusiast for a while. It gives you weapon and spell, offensive penetration, and then when you leave sneak or invisibility while in combat, your weapon and spell damage is increased by 369 for 15 seconds. Let's talk about a few things. Why some people are like, First thing, you have to be in combat. That's actually a pretty big piece of dialogue there, because it means that if you're trying to ambush somebody, or you're trying to get the spell bonus ahead of time, you can't do that. You have to be in combat to get that bonus. But I think with the way that the Nightblades have kind of adjusted with toggling, it's still a pretty decent one to use. Plus, we have tons of people using invis pots, and 369 weapon and spell damage is quite a good chunk of weapon and spell damage. People are willing to use New Moon Alkali for a long time, and that would increase the cost of all your abilities. And 15 seconds is a chunk of time that people who are using invisibility can easily play around. Plus 2, the 2, 3, and 4 complement it very well. I would say, though, there is still a lot of debate about this set. It does come from Cold Harbor. It's a base game set. You're not going to see it super often in Cyrodiil, so I do have to take some points away from that. Even though I personally love this set and it's very profitable usually to resell, you're probably not going to be able to sell this piece of jewelry for more than 125k gold. You might get a decent turnaround if you do purchase it with AP, if you have a bunch of AP. But I would say it's probably around like a 7.5. It's about halfway between good and great. But if the meta shifts enough, you could see this potentially go higher. This is one of the sets, too, that's almost affected by which sets get nerfed higher than it. As Calorians, gets nerfed, and as all these other really good Nightblade sets just seem to always get nerfed first. It's like, okay, the gap does get lower for the boy in the Stiggin set. And now is a set that kind of just takes you back when you look at it. It's Pirate Skeleton. Now, I loved this set, a few years ago. It comes from Blackheart Haven, very piratey themed dungeon, very fun to run. It's one piece of 1435 armor, is certainly decent if you're looking to just get straight armor. But when you take damage, you transform into a skeleton and gain major protection and minor defile for 15 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 10%, but reducing your healing received and damage shield strength by 6%. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds. Here's the problem with this set, is this set hasn't really been touched, nerfed, changed. The biggest problem is that major protection just comes from other places these days. And when you can get an easy source of a specific buff, you're not going to waste a full 2-piece set to then gain that buff, especially if you also have to take minor defile. I mean, there are ways you can work around that pretty comfortably, but why work around that when you can just slap on, the Psijic Order, ultimate, or if you want to slap on Revealing Flare. There's so many ways that you can just get it, this buff in different ways. you're not going to be a skeleton anymore. But go watch old Cyrodiil clips and you'll see pirate skeleton armies running around because they were that popular back in the day. Next up is Engine Guardian. Now we're finishing on a bit of a banger here, but is it a staple banger, an excellent banger, or lower? It's one piece as 124 health recovery, and it's two pieces when you use an ability that costs resources, which is just such a weird way to describe an ability. It's like when you buy something with money, it's like, whoa, okay. You have a 25% chance to summon a Dwemer Automaton to restore 531 stamina or magicka, or 2302 health to you every half second for 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. Now, this is like the ultimate sustain set. You'll see this very frequently in both PvE and even in PvP content. There's quite a few people, if you just run around Cyrodiil, you're going to see these Dwarven Automatons pretty constantly. So how do you put that on a tier list? It's great for PvP. It's great for PvP. Does it get extra points for that? Probably. It's also a shoulder too. So like you're saving yourself potentially 8 Undaunted keys, which is a premium currency these days because ever since the sticker book change, making those curated drops for the shoulders, it's great, but it also means that people are just burning through keys at a faster rate, even with the changes to veteran pledges. So would I buy this with gold? I think if you just kind of want to put a tank set on the back burner, maybe you just buy this, because if you wanted to get the helmet, Darkshade Caverns is certainly not going to give you any trouble these days. So I would go out and purchase this if you're interested in potentially building a PvP tankier build, a little more sustain, or if you're looking to get into PvP tanking, this is a really good, excellent sustain set to use as well. I would say it's not a staple. We'll just give it like a 9.5. I think it's definitely a fantastic set, which is our 9.0 rating, but we'll say it's halfway to that staple category of 9.5. But what it does is not super unique to itself. For example, you can see that I'm using Roxas right beside it, and it gives me tons of recoveries. At least you would see that if I wasn't in the way. So unfortunately, when it comes to sustain these days, there are just so many sets that can do it, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this is still a good set. In fact, I'd say it's even a fantastic set. But everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I enjoy making these videos so much, even though sometimes I'm always like, we got to get these going as quick as possible. The vendor is out. We got to go. Let's go. And so I always enjoy rating these items. So let me know which item in here excites you the most. I think, knowing my audience, it's going to be the fact that you can get a necklace of the Sergeant. But I also think a lot of people might be swayed by Engine Guardian. It's a very good set. Saves you Undaunted keys. If it was the helmet, different conversation, but saving Undaunted keys in this economy is always great. So let me know in the comments below. As always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do to enter is leave a comment in the comments below. Second thing is just make sure you're subscribed/follow on Twitch and Twitter for an additional entry. And the third thing is look for a hidden word be flashed upon the screen. The month is almost over. There's 1 word per month on a video that's uploaded in the month of December. If you're the first person to find and comment it, you will win. Thank you guys so much again. Have a happy new year, happy holidays, merry late Christmas, and anything else that you might have, and enjoy the New Life Festival. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.